beautiful Sunday, the Sunday after Easter in the Christendom. For the Catholics, it is the Divine Mercy Sunday. And for our Muslim brothers and sisters, I know they will be rounding off their Ramadan fast, preparing to celebrate Eid al-Fitr in a few days from now. The supplementary election for the state constituency in one of the polling units in Oji River local government area of Enugu State, rescheduled for yesterday, the 15th of April, has come and gone. We'll tell you how the election went in one of our reports tonight. Also on line-up tonight are burial ceremonies held in honor of some notable persons. We have also lined up other heartwarming stories that will help you relax as we usher in a new week. It is nice to have you join us on this week's edition of Sunday Rendezvous. Good evening and welcome. Do not forget that you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at NTA Enugu. The supplementary election for the state constituency in just one polling unit at Oji River Urban Ward 2, polling unit 002, was characterized with electoral violence. Comfort Ayim reports.
Process which commenced on time and peacefully. The beavers performed optimally and voters turned out in their numbers to cast their vote, though the beavers rejected some PVCs.
People started coming the way they're supposed to come, and then the votes has been casted. Those who casted are waiting. Everything is going very well, and people turned out well.
While the voting process ended and all eyes were on the ballots awaiting the referee to blow the final whistle, the peaceful atmosphere took a different look. There were confusion in the air as to why the delay in counting the votes cast. With the heavy presence of security agents on ground, recall that it was a similar case led to the cancellation of same state constituency election in the polling unit 001 Oji Urban Ward 2 with 10 different polling units. The INEC officials who declined to comment on camera said a total number of registered voters is about 2,589. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
The 2023 general elections have come and gone, and May 29th handover date is fast approaching to inaugurate a set of newly elected leaders at all levels. Residents of Enugu, on their part, are on agenda setting with high expectations to see credible and competent leaders occupy key positions in governance. Chimaroke Ugu tells us more.
With the 2023 governorship elections over, the most critical and Herculean task for the new administration is the choice of cabinet members who will help in actualization of the governor's agenda and roadmap. According to some relevant stakeholders in Enugu State, there are some virtues to look out for like technocracy, integrity, and people with outstanding performance, both in politics and charitable contributions.
To succeed, I pray him to really look downwards. People who will stand with him, speak the truth, do the work, and advise him properly.
I don't have any doubt about him selecting his cabinet. I know he must be thorough doing it. We don't need to bother ourselves. Not people, and I'm sure that he will not do it on the grounds of patronage. He will do it on the grounds of competence.
They were, however, optimistic that since the governor-elect has good track records in corporate world, he will replicate same in developing Enugu State with his choice of cabinet members.
My advice upon what he has already taken as an oath, making a speech of integration and bringing everybody together as one family of Enugu State.
He has something in him to offer to Enugu State. And I'm saying him to come in and do a lot of work, a lot of challenges before him in Enugu State. And being in the world there as an industrialist, I believe he will bring that experience into the system.
Enugu State people have entrusted the leadership of Enugu State on the hands of Peter and Dr. Ndubisi. And I'm very, very sure, gentleman I know he is going to keep to his words because he has already has integrity as a person.
It was the resolve of many that if the right person are co-opted into the cabinet, Enugu will be great again. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
We'll take a break here. Sunday Rendezvous. We'll be right back. Do stay. Welcome back. For Nigeria to remain one entity, promoting national cohesion should be more of an indispensable need for Nigerians, irrespective of the diverse cultural, ethnic, and religious composition of the country. These were the views of some key players in Enugu, and they believe that religious leaders have a big role to play in actualizing this cause. Chimaroke Ugu again reports.
Nigeria is a country blessed with rich natural resources, cultural heritage, human capital, as well as people with different cultural, religious, ethnic backgrounds. It is in view of these that key players say there is need to promote brotherhood and togetherness across different creeds, religion, sects, beliefs, and systems in the country. Religious leaders are believed to have a direct contact and influence on their diverse adherents.
The real sense of it, where we say we are one Nigeria, religion shouldn't be a divisive instrument for us. Each of us should see ourselves as one, created by God. Two, Nigerians, irrespective of our tribal languages and our religious differences. By accident you are a Muslim, by accident I'm a Christian, by accident you are a traditionalist. But one thing that unifies us is that God that created us.
But now you can see that some Christians, they know Muslims are tolerant, because it's very hard. It's hardly that you see some people fighting that is because of their religion. Now you don't hear it again. All this thing is vanishing, is disappearing. But what we try to do more is to know that all the creatures are created by Allah.
Every religion practices this golden rule of the universe that has to do with religious tolerance. And what religious tolerance is all about is for one to understand love. Love is in the center. Love and peace is in the center of Christianity. Love and peace is in the center of Islam. Love and peace is even in the center of African tradition.
It's left for leaders, traditional institutions, religious leaders, and the constituted authority, that is the government, to brace up to the challenge and start praising unity, start giving sermon that has to do with unity, because as one, we are better off. As one, the progress we are yearning for in Nigeria will achieve that.
Experts say Nigerians must begin to see the country as their common heritage and ensure they do everything to promote peace and love. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
Indeed, Nigeria is the only country we can truly call our own. The depletion of Nigeria workforce, especially in the medical field, has become a huge source of concern, with a doctor-to-patient ratio now at 1 to 10,000, as against the World Health Organization recommendation of 1 to 1,000. To this end, Chika Ugu takes a look at medical brain drain and its effects on Nigeria's health sector.
It is no longer news that most Nigerians travel abroad either to study, to get proper health care service, or to seek for greener pastures. But the sudden surge to travel to developed countries, especially in the health sector, is becoming worrisome. According to the Nigerian Medical Association rating, no fewer than 50 medical doctors leave the shores of the country weekly in search for greener pastures.
You go to hospital now, you want to do radiography, you want to do physiotherapy, you want to do something, you can't find them. The one you are seeing are just fresh ones.
Public hospitals in the country seems to be the worst hit by this brain drain, leaving fewer specialists and health workers, a situation that is putting pressure on the available ones due to work overload and threatening the healthcare service provided.
Because of lack of doctors, people die. And the effect is that people overwork themselves. Doctors are stressed. The life expectancy of a doctor has been reduced because of this.
The effect of this worrisome trend is that most Nigerians have lost faith in the health sector and seek for treatments overseas, thereby also affecting the country's economy. The question now is, of what use is it for the government to invest so much resources and funds to train doctors only to lose them to other countries? It is therefore the views of many that governments provide conducive working environments for health workers and look beyond the minimum wage and come up with a proper welfare package to end the migration of health professionals abroad.
I hope the relevant authorities will look into this issue. And still talking health, from time to time, people fall sick, and in a bid to get momentary relief, they engage in self-medication in spite of its effects, which in most cases worsen the situation. And this report, Fortunate also, examines the dangers of self-medication, which is seemingly on the increase.
Self-medication refers to all attempts to deal with depression, physical or emotional pain, and weakness of the body, intense emotions, with the help of drugs, alcohol, and other substances without the guidance of a doctor. Some of the common reasons for self-medication, respondents say, range from easy access to a pharmacy or patent medicine store, the ability to store necessary medications at home, as well as availability of health or drug information on the internet.
When we are challenged in any way, that we should seek medical help by going for appropriate laboratory tests, discovering what is the issue, then take appropriate medication.
So anytime I feel any funny behavior in my body, I have a pharmacy I always run to. If it's severe like that, I take myself to the hospital.
A medical expert, Dr. Emmanuel Ndukwe, speaks on the effect of self-medication and cautions the public against the act.
The disadvantages are problems like addiction, drug dependence, and then drug resistance. One of the highly abused class of drugs within our environment is antibiotics, anti-malaria. They will say common malaria, common typhoid. In fact, now they say that malaria and typhoid fever are brothers. When malaria grows, it becomes typhoid fever. But that is not true.
No matter how cheap self-medication appears to be, its effect is more costly on the long run. So, when next you are sick, do well to seek medical advice and examination before taking medications.
I hope you heard that advice from medical experts. Now, if there is one road safety rule that has defied solution, all hands will point towards overloaded vehicles with their various inscriptions in spite of its dangers on passengers, the vehicles itself, and road durability. But there are counter opinions in the public domain that if the relevant authorities, such as the Road Safety and the Transport Union, can up their games, the menace will become a thing of the past. Comfort Ayim brings us a situation report from the Southeast Zone.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. A popular saying often neglected, giving room to such a sight which has become a recurrent decimal in Nigeria today in spite of its dangers.
The driver should be wholly responsible because, the agboros, they say waiting consigned or overload with agboros. So, the drivers are to be responsible for the overloading. So those people that are overloading, if you check very well, they are not the owner of the car.
Overload the key vehicle and they cause many things. Overload can cause accidents.
And the drivers ply the roads in broad daylight without prevention, putting all their hopes and trusts in the various inscriptions like "No food for a lazy man," "The Lord is my shepherd," among others. The Road Traffic Act 1988 states that it is illegal Yet, motorists have continued to defy the law.
Because the road that is also conveying this passenger is even carrying more people than is expected. Overloading, we are talking of, I just used the instance of a smaller vehicle. What about even the trucks that are overloaded? The stress on the vehicle during wet season, and then the capacity, the capability, ability of the tire to grip will also be very slim.
It is an existential reality that vehicles react differently when the maximum weight it is designed to carry are exceeded, and the consequences, experts say, can be fatal, as the overheated tires can wear out rapidly and may result in blowouts. In most cases, blowouts make drivers lose control of the vehicle, leading to an accident.
We sanction them, but we take them to court. There is no day that they talk to passengers, they talk to commuters without stressing the point of overloading.
History is in possession of records where the menace, especially trucks during wet weather, have claimed many lives. Apart from the damages on the vehicle itself, overloaded vehicles are major contributory factors to the deplorable state of some roads across the country.
I think drivers must put safety first when driving. That is said to be a call which every mortal must answer. And Mrs. Agnes Winya Izundu Eze has just answered this call and gone back to be with her maker at the ripe age of 94. Uchenna Nnamele witnessed the burial ceremony at her husband's compound, Obiofu Amoji Nenwe, in an Inri local government area of Enugu State, and he reels out the moment for Sunday Rendezvous.
The body of the late Agnes Eze arrived Community Field, Obiofu Amoji Nenwe, and Inri Local Government Council for church service as family, friends, and associates of the deceased family gathered to pray for the peaceful repose of her soul and wished her well. In a sermon, Pastor Onyedika Chukwu Okonkwo of Church of God Seventh-day Mission Nenwe advised the living to be mindful of their lifestyle, as they must give account of every of their actions on the last day. The cleric encouraged the living to desist from evil ways and return back to God.
She served God with all her heart. Honestly, in the church, Mama lived a life that, even up to date, we miss her.
Church service over, the body of the late Agnes Eze was committed to Mother Earth amidst dust-to-dust rituals. Family members said Ada Jesus, as she was fondly called, has created a vacuum which no one can fill, and wished her well.
She loves me just for who I am. When I came back home, we were still struggling then. He brought out her box of clothes. I said I should carry it. I should take. I said, Mama, why? He said, you are the one that needs it. Carry it. I don't need it anymore.
He was a very cheerful giver. My mother was a peacemaker and peace builder. My mother was so selfless in all her things.
Our mother brought us up with love. We love each other. There's nothing like this among each and every one of us.
Mama was my best friend. We're always playing. Everything about her is so sweet.
Some guests who spoke encouraged the deceased family to emulate the good legacies she left behind.
She was a mother to all of us. Very industrious, caring. She did her best.
I asked him to take heart, not just him, all the members of the family, both nucleus and extended.
Her life is worth emulating. You know, I grew up in this village to know her as a Christian, when Christianity was, seen as something abhorrible.
Until her death, the late Agnes Eze was a born-again, never compromised her faith, hard-working farmer, and a virtuous woman. She is survived by children, grandchildren, and in-laws.
celebration of life well lived there. In everything, there is a season, a time to be born and a time to die. This is a biblical injunction. Recently, the body of the late Igwe Peter Aninweze Agudebube, one of Umuojiagu Ukehe, was laid to rest in his compound at Umuofiagu Ukehe in Igbo local government area of Enugu State. The deceased is the father of Mrs. Jane Ozemena, the manager finance, NTA Port Harcourt Network Center. Okechukwu Agubaba captured the burial ceremony for Sunday Rendezvous.
That was a traditional procession that ushered the body of the late Igwe Aninweze to his compound. Friends, well-wishers from within and outside Enugu were on hand to commiserate with the family of late traditional ruler, especially the NTA family from Enugu, Makodi, and Port Harcourt Network Centers. In a homily, the Reverend Father Lambert Ejonweme of the Maria Azomta Parish, Ibule, Umo Ofiago Ukehe, urged Christians to emulate Christ's life, so as to influence people around them to think like Christ. He described Igwe as a man that ruled his people in humility and fear of God. Children, friends, and family members say he's a rare gem.
My dad is a disciplinarian. He's an honest man. There's nothing that detests my dad like when you're not honest in what you're doing.
I have learned many things from him through his advice and character behavior, because he normally tells me that I'll stand in truth and nothing but the truth.
The most kind man I know. A quick story, short story I'm going to say. Way back in my secondary school, I was a boarder in school, so it got to a point where I was so hungry and I didn't have anything to eat, and all he did was to kill a very big chicken for me, and he was like, eat and eat and eat until you're tired.
We need to thank God for his life, and all we can tell the family or counsel the family with is for them to emulate the life he lived, follow his footsteps.
My message for the bereaved family today is that of having faith in God. They should hold on to God and God alone.
As a comrade, she has been leading people, and I believe that being the first daughter in the family, she's going to use that same spirit that she has been using to coordinate people, to coordinate her family, to ensure that there is no misunderstanding among them.
Take heart, is gone, is no more, but his legacy that he has actually planted on the children is something that they should live with and run with.
His Royal Highness Igwe Peter Aninweze, the Agudi Ebube I of Umuofiagu Ukehe, was born 78 years ago. He is survived by wife and 5 children.
Auntie Jane, I think we can only say take heart on the death of your father as we join in praying for the repose of his soul. And this is where we'll draw the curtains on this week's edition of Sunday Rendezvous. We thank you so much for being a part of it. Good night and God bless.